Everything in your life right now is a reflection of how you define yourself. Not your age, not your circumstances, not your bank account. The strongest force in human nature is our deep emotional need to stay consistent with who we believe we are. So let me ask you something. Who do you believe you are? Because if you're stuck, if you're tired, if you're playing small, maybe it's not because of what happened to you. Maybe it's because of the identity you've been unknowingly loyal to for years. If I told you that the life you're living right now, the struggles, the successes, the limitations, they are not based on your circumstances, but they are based on your identity. Not who you really are, but who you think you are. The strongest force in human nature is our need to stay consistent with how we define ourselves. And that definition could be the very thing holding you back from the life you truly want. This isn't just psychology, it's your blueprint. And I'm going to show you how to change it. Because when I changed mine, I went from broken to rebuilding, from invisible to empowered, and from betrayed and stripped of everything at 58 to boldly stepping into my chapter 2. If you define yourself as someone who's always broke, you'll find a way to stay broke. If you define yourself as a victim, you will keep living like one. But if you start to define yourself as powerful, capable, and worthy of more, everything begins to change. I want to show you how one shift in how you see yourself can completely transform your reality, and how this has changed my life at 58 years old. Not too long ago, I thought my life was over. I had trusted someone deeply, and he used that trust to take everything from me. My savings, my dignity, my sense of self-safety, my self-worth. And at 58, I was shattered. But there was one turning point, one moment that woke me up. You don't rebuild your life by changing the outside. You rebuild by redefining who you believe you are on the inside. And this video is for every woman, every man who's been lied to, hurt, or left wondering if they're too old to begin again. Because you're not too late. You are just one belief away from a completely different life. Here is one truth. You act in ways that prove your identity, right? Even if it hurts. For example, if you believe that you are bad with money, then you will avoid looking at your accounts. You will spend impulsively. You will stay stuck in debt. But why? Because your subconscious wants you to be right about who you are. The strongest force in the human personality is the need to stay consistent with how we define ourselves. Think about that. It's not your lack of ability, it's your loyalty to an outdated version of yourself. Let's start with this truth. You act in ways that match who you believe you are, even if it's hurting you. Psychologists call this identity consistency. It's the idea that we unconsciously make decisions from habits and shape our future based on staying true to our self-image, even if that image is built on lies or old wounds. Example from my own life. After the betrayal, I walked around with internal label. I'm the woman who messed up her life. I'm the woman that can't keep it together. And guess what? I made decisions that kept me there. I didn't ask for help. I didn't speak up. I stayed small because it felt familiar. And that's the worst thing we can do to ourselves, is be in a position where everything feels familiar and we don't step out of our comfort zone because we cannot grow. The identity became a cage for me, one I built, one I locked, and one I had to break out of by myself. So ask yourself this. What identity am I still being loyal to, even though it's keeping me stuck? Maybe you've defined yourself as just a mom, too old to start something new, not tech savvy enough for a YouTube channel or anything else, not strong enough to start over. None of those are true. They're just echoes from a past that's begging to be rewritten. You were not born with this definition. It was given to you and reinforced over time by family. And many times our families don't know any better. They knew what they were taught. And this does not mean that they didn't love us, but they did keep us stuck. By partners, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough. By experiences that wounded you, you'll never get it right. You'll never get it together. You'll never learn this. But here's the powerful part. If it was programmed, it can be unprogrammed. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your identity. Think about that for a moment. Say you have a goal. Say you want to start a YouTube channel and rebuild your life, which is what I did. This is what I wanted, and so this is why I'm using this example. But if your identity is, I'm not interesting enough, I'm too old, I'm not a YouTuber, what are you going to do? You will sabotage yourself. You will delay. You'll overthink and you'll make excuses. Not because the dream isn't real, but plain and simple because you don't see yourself as someone who can have it. Your identity isn't just in your thoughts, it's in your habits. So if you want to start a YouTube channel, but your internal identity says, I'm not confident on camera, well, guess what? You procrastinate filming. You say, what's the point? No one's going to watch. You film once and you delete the footage. But here's the shift. If you decide, I am someone who is growing, I'm someone who is evolving and learning how to share my voice, then you film anyway, you practice and improve, and you show up with compassion instead of judgment. One builds momentum. The other builds regret. Let's do a reality check. Staying in a false identity costs you more than fear of starting. If you believe you're not capable and that belief stops you from starting a channel, you miss out on AdSense potential, affiliate income potential, digital product sales potential. All put together, that could be approximately $1,400 a month, or about $16,800 a year left on the table. Over the next 5 years, that's over $84,000 lost. But beyond the money, what about the loss of self-respect? What about the loss of the chance to be able to move forward and do something good for yourself and step out of that box? What about the woman you could have become if you saw yourself clearly? Don't let that false sense of identity rob you of your future. Here's how I started changing my identity, and you can too. Ask yourself, what is one limiting belief I've accepted as my truth? Write it down. Expose it. Here's an example. I'm not strong enough to rebuild my life. Where did that come from? Who gave that to you? Step 2. Rewrite the story. You don't have to lie to yourself. You just need a new truth. Replace it with something powerful. I'm becoming stronger every single day. I've survived 100% of my worst days so far. Words matter. Speak them daily until they stick. Step 3, prove it with action. Identity is built through behavior. Film one 60-second YouTube short. 60 seconds, 1 minute of your life. Read one chapter of a book on confidence. Say no to the one thing that drains your energy. Each teeny act is a vote for the new self. Each teeny act is a vote for your new self. And let me remind you of this. You are not the woman who got left. You are not the woman who was betrayed. You are not broken. You are being reborn. Your life isn't defined by what he took from you. It's being shaped by what you choose to reclaim. The strongest force in your personality isn't your pain. It's your power to choose who you are now. If you're ready to step into your new identity, hit that subscribe button. Join me to build this community where we can walk this path together, one bold healing step at a time. And drop a comment and tell me, what's one old identity you're leaving behind? and who you are choosing to become. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, be the best you and the strongest you can be. I'll see you in the next one.